talked about this, I pointed out that this rule is kind of one of the most obvious moves by the NFL, saying that they might not be as interested in NFL player safety because it absolutely doesn't help at all. You can change the helmets, you can change the pads, you can change the rules, you can change whatever you want.
For
But now you
real.
get another 90 minutes of physical fight that they're just gonna go out there and kill each other every play, which could end up getting hurt and in careers. You never know. So this is definitely a money move. This is definitely something that the NFL just wants to dominate, maybe for a little bit longer, since they know nobody watches the preseason. They're gonna have another full week of games that they're gonna pretty much gain all that money from, whether it's TV revenue, it's concessions. We already talked about it. But yeah, I think it's a good
That's
move
right.
overall.
Television rights too.
Yeah. So I feel like the only thing that really suffers here is the player's health, which since it already happened, we can't really talk too much on that point. But yeah, honestly, I think we're all excited to see one more NFL game because we know the countdown when it's getting to like week 15, 16, you know, your team is out of the playoffs. Everybody starts to get a little down because you have to wait till next August to have some good football news. So, hey, now we're going to have at least one more game, one more meaningful game in the season, guys.
Or if you're a team who needs that high draft pick, that's one more game to tank.
Exactly. Like if there was one more game last
no
season
teams.
when the Jets and the Jaguars were fighting for the last spot, who knows? Maybe that could have been the differentiator where maybe now Trevor Lawrence goes to the Jets and that franchise gets changed.
Yeah, and that's what really what I wanted to kind of bring up, that like the fact that like, you know, it's kind of like you know, fantasy or whatever. Even fantasy football is gonna get affected. You know, it's gonna be
That's one of the major reasons I think they did it because it's gonna get them all types of flexibility.
Exactly. So it's like kind of like, oh dang, you know. And I think
And the betting, of
I
course.
think it is. I think, you know, it is a money grab, of course. But honestly, I think they offer the players a lot of money, like incentive in terms of like like TV sharing or something. You know, either or. Me personally, the 17th game, as a fan, I love it. Right, it's more football. But you know, I rather the players, you know, be safer, I guess.
Do
But
you
if
really?
I mean,
When your team's up by 7 and the guy's running pick 6, do you really want them to drop at the 1 yard line, or you just want them to score or try and do their best to score? I feel like as fans we say that, but we want those players to give it their all because we want to win.
yeah, and honestly, like
Just like the teams.
yeah, and it's like one of those things where it's like, you know, it's like I said, as a fan, I want it, but I don't know, because it does matter, Seabass. Like, it's football, you know, like it's health, like it's like the health, dude. Like, you're getting hit. Like, there's no such thing as like taking it easy in football. Like, yeah, there's not. Like in the NBA, maybe soccer, you know, and baseball, whatever, every sport. But like, you know, like boxing, like football, like stuff like that. Like those sports are just like physical. Like, you know, you can't like take it easy and chill, whatever, right?
I mean, there's players that take plays off, right? But even in a play where you kind of don't go 100%, you can get your legs rolled up under. You can get hit blindside by a running back or whatever is happening on the play. As long as you're in the field and the ball is snapped, anybody that's out there could get hurt or could get injured in a way. So
Yeah.
you're right. There is no taking off or on
Because
play.
your leg snapped.
Yeah. So yeah. So I mean, and go for your art.
No. Yeah, it's, you know, there's definitely more pros and cons with the 17 game season. It just seems rather odd.
I agree. There's a lot of like we're discussing the gridiron change or the gridiron news. There really is quite a bit of change. Obviously, most of it because of COVID, but I also feel like the owners and the NFL overall is taking advantage of the situation to where like let's put all these things that maybe we were gonna hold off or try to stagger throughout the years and just roll it up.
That's cool. As a matter of fact, there's a good segue. You're talking about NFL players' health. You know, does the league care about the health of these players? Which brings up I guess, not controversial, but this is the NFL Players Association due to COVID protocols, has stated that teams will not participate in workouts, and some players are against that. And this affects probably over 20 teams this far, maybe even more. So, what they'll go with Seabass. What do you think about the NFL Players Association electing to skip these workouts?
To be honest, I think the NFLPA kind of messed up. I really think they fucked up on this one. Mainly because their statement was more about voluntary workouts, right? So that they don't want any players to feel forced to go to voluntary workouts because of COVID, because the situation, also because they're voluntary. They've always been voluntary. But the NFLPA had thrown announcements to entire teams. I think they started with like 15, and as the week went on, I think we're up to 20, 20 something. Not every team has been given a statement by the NFLPA. We're going to have teams like Green Bay, Jaguars, obviously, Buffalo, players in maybe some smaller markets that don't really have that problem. But right now, I think the NFLPA kind of overlooked their players. So they're trying to protect their players due to COVID, yes. But you have voluntary workout bonuses. You have bonus structures all over in any contracts that say if you make it to 80% of OTAs, or if you make it to 80% or 90% of the training camp trainings, Zoom, whatever it might be, you'll get such a bonus. Now, for
There we
the
go.
headliners,
There we go.
the headliners, anyone that has millions and millions of dollars,
It's whatever.
they could probably not afford it, but
Yeah.
if you're a player that the rest of the league, pretty much 80% of the league, that's making a couple million, maybe hundreds of thousands, you might want to stay in town, get your workouts done that you're going to do regardless, and get an extra 500K, 800K, whatever it might be. And NFLPA telling these teams, hey, we're not going to tell our players that they have to do it, or releasing the statement saying that they're not going to show up, is not involving everybody. That's just maybe the veteran, the leaders in the NFLPA that have played before and retired, or they're hearing things or the opinions of veteran players currently that, yeah, they don't want to be forced to show up. And while it's voluntary, we all know, just like in our jobs, it's, if your bosses tell you this is voluntary, but they stare at you, you kind of know it's not voluntary. Same thing in the NFL. Head coaches, defensive coordinators, offensive coordinators, line position coaches, they want their players there. They say voluntary, but there's a reason why they make these contracts and these bonuses to get them in there. So there is participation, so that they can get ahead of the game and not have to wait till training camp in late July to get ready for a season. So NFLPA, I feel like in their heads, these were statements maybe trying to be cautionary to the teams, saying, hey, don't expect anybody. But I feel like it is overlooking a lot of the players. And we've already heard many players saying, hey, I don't agree with it, I'm still showing up. And that's something that is an option. So pretty much it went from the NFL saying, you have these voluntary workouts, these voluntary OTAs, mini camps, training camps, whatever it might be. Yeah, they might be voluntary. There's no need to say a statement, we're not showing up. The current statement is that it's voluntary. Yes, the bonus structures are there. Maybe some head coaches have expect the players to be there, but it is voluntary. Them saying that is pretty much going to affect or put many players that are coming up and need this money, want this money, maybe not to follow the NFLPA so much, which the NFLPA, to be honest, I support. I do think that they are necessary. I do think that without it, NFL owners and teams will take advantage of the players as they did for so many decades. But they also kind of have to stay in their lane and include everybody, not just try and fight whatever they can. Because, I mean, look at teams like I mentioned right now, Buffalo Bills, the Green Bay Packers. Yes, they have a great history. Yes, they have a lot of legends in those fields. But when the season's over, a lot of players don't want to stay in Buffalo for their summer, for their vacations, right? Or Green Bay. There's not a lot to do there. So players want to go, I'm going to go with my family here. I'm going to go to Florida. I'm going to go there. And yes, I'll train. I won't get that bonus, but I'll be good. So what do those teams do to keep them there? They offer more money. Hey, show up to 80% of your workouts, you'll get almost $1 million. Like, okay, maybe now I can find my way to being okay staying in Buffalo the whole summer.
A better incentive to stay.
Yeah, so I do
Or
think
you
that
could be like Zeke Elliott and go to like Cabo San Lucas and just.
exactly. I don't think Zeke will be pissed off about missing 500K for not training. I mean, he's gonna be in shape and he has multiple millions in the bank. But yeah, that's my opinion on it. I don't think much will come out of it because NFLPA doesn't have the right to prevent a player to go. If you want to go, you're gonna go. But pretty much their representation is speaking for a lot of players that I feel don't want to be spoken for in that.
Mm. Danny, you want to chime in? Is the Players Association not staying in their lane?
I mean, I kind of understand, kind of, like they're kind of what they're trying to do. Be trying to be aware. Where like it's the elephant in the room. Um, like they kind of had to. It's we're still in the middle of a pandemic, so we're still kind of not out of it, whether we kind of like it or not. But and the NFL just kind of has to be as correct as possible, if you will.
Yeah.
I mean, like Siva was saying, they do win a lot. They do get a lot of incentives for, um, for going, missing practice, or for going to practices and not missing practices, going to these, optional or voluntary, workouts and stuff like that. Which you can argue should, a lot of the stars and stuff like that still go because it builds chemistry within the team, especially as a football team,
Exactly.
especially
Especially if you have a new coach, new coordinator, new players.
and yeah, exactly. It's just one of those things where football is like repetitive. With anything really, right? But football is just you act as a unit so much all the time that it just kind of helps if you just kind of play together at some point, other than the first game of the season, if you will. Not really, but you know what I mean. Where it's just like, hey,
Man, like
kind of
usually training
start.
camps start late July. That gives
Yeah,
you like a month and a half for the one. Come
yeah,
on.
yeah, exactly. But I do. I don't know. I kind of do. Where it's like kind of. I mean, they're just trying to be safe, and some players are, just, they're like, I'm trying to protect my family and stuff like that. We're still not out of this, and so I kind of see their point, but it's like, a lot of players might lose money and stuff like that, but it's because they're like, oh, I think they're just honestly they're just trying to kind of save, you know, save their kind of skin and everything, giving
Safe
everyone the
picks. Yeah.
save face, yeah, everyone giving the everyone the option. Um,
You know what,
I don't
Danny?
know
Just made me think about something.
what.
All these players that are saying or that are on that side or on that mentality that hey, due to COVID, you can't force me to go, or I kind of want to do things my way. I mean, they are still gonna have to get ready for the season, right? Like they're gonna train on their own. They're gonna find a gym or field or to work out with.
Yeah, or a
At
personal
some point,
trainer
they're
or
gonna have to
whatever.
expose themselves. Yeah, at some point, they're gonna have to expose themselves anyway. So
Yeah,
why not do it with NFL precautions and an NFL system that is probably doing it better than anywhere in the world as far as trying to get so many players to be part of a program? Why not trust the people that had such a great season last year compared to other uh, major sports organizations that maybe didn't do as well? I feel like you can trust the NFL off of the results of last year that they're doing the
Yeah,
right things.
there's
So
only like
saying
one
that
or
I
two
don't want to show up
games.
for that reason, it's like, so you're gonna go to Planet Fitness, or you're a millionaire, you're gonna go with half of your team to another location offsite where there's other risks, or however you want to do it. Why not trust the NFL and your staff and your field and your hometown? Where? Just a thought.
yeah, and like I said, like it's just like it's a team sport, and NFL more than anything, where yeah, one player can really affect the game, right? Because it's 11 players on the
Actually, a quarterback.
or 22, players on the field or whatever, right? Like the quarterback and stuff like that. So like a player can really impact, but a team, like a unit that can function as a team is can be very 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 potent as a opponent. So it's like kind of like, oh man, like like that's what happened with the Bucks. Yeah, they had Tom Brady, right? They had a really good defense, and then they had older players, veterans, whatever. But they were like as a unit, like they were scary, bro. Like that D line was scary. So in linebackers, et cetera, et cetera. So it's like one of those like things where I don't know, I kind of do see on that side, but I don't know. What do you think, Arturo?
Well, I see what Seabass was saying earlier. Like, it's better to, instead of everybody working out on their own in different locations, why don't, be more like work out as a unit with your own team and, all together off-site in your own facilities. Uh, yeah, the NFL, they weren't doing too bad this last season. I think only like one or two games were postponed, just a few. Well, I don't know. Baltimore was the main culprit, but,
Yeah,
but for the
twice
most
in a
part, we,
Yeah.
we all got what we wanted. We had a full season and a Super Bowl. So yeah, the NFL, like, they do have the money and resources to like keep these players in safe environments, especially for workouts. So I think they the NFL Players Association, although well intentioned, they kind of like stirred the pot a bit when it really wasn't necessary.
Exactly. It was already voluntary, pretty much.
Yeah, and they're kind of like, and I understand them, but it was just, I mean, I don't know. I feel like they did what they kind of had to.
I feel like they meant well and messed up.
I still think they did it right, but whatever. That's just me. I'm just doing devil's advocate. All right, guys,
We
go
can
ahead.
always
It's
agree
cool.
to disagree.
All right, go for it. All right.
I was gonna say, Evan, you doing okay over there, buddy? Can you give me a soundbite to lighten the mood?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. For real though.
Oh, no.
All right, cool.
All
Now
right.
that we're having fun, we're gonna get a little bit more creative with the NFL now that we got the serious talk out of the way.
Nice.
In
Nice.
the major sporting world, we had the so-called Super League over there with European soccer or football as they know it.
Superliga.
Superliga, which 12 teams were trying to essentially secede from their own conferences and pretty much keep all their monetary, I don't know, pretty much it was a big money thing.
Yeah, keep
And
all the
it
monetary, what is it, gains, if you will.
They wanted to stop sharing all the profits with the rest of the teams in the leagues, knowing that they are the big attraction, why most of the money comes in the first place.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was a
there you
big
go.
stink. The fans were in a major uproar, and already half or more like have already seceded from this other
Yeah.
Super League. And so we wanted to have a little bit of fun with it and see what would happen if we took this across the pond here to U.S. soil and see if maybe the NFL in some crazy alternate universe, if they tried their own Super League, which 10 NFL teams would best represent?
Eight.
Fine. 8 teams would represent the NFL, to showcase to the world what kind of talent we got here. And so we're going to kind of do like a little super league of our own. I don't know. Who wants to start first with which teams would best represent in this eight team roster?
I'll let Danny take it first.
All right, Danny. 8 teams or 8? Which 8 teams would you pick?
So
Or
let me
a couple, didn't we?
let me just preface it. So I'll do the first 5, and then we'll see if you guys agree. If we'll take one off or on.
Somebody's ready
Yeah.
for this.
We'll do 5, okay?
Do it.
How,
And then you see if you guys agree, and
Have
then
fun
go
with
from
it.
there. All right. So
bitching.
the super again, just like a super fan Art was talking about it. The Superliga is the best teams, right, of Europe, and they're the richest. And really, what Tosco was kind of talking about last time is really a big thing was the fact that it was the fact that he did in this case he was talking about the talent displacements. We're talking about the talent space and how it's like only the big teams because they can afford it, right? The big brands like Arsenal, Tottenham, they're not in the they're in the bottom or they're like in the bottom half or whatever, right? But in this case, now but what they are is what they're a brand, and they're a brand that you can showcase, and a brand that you can kind of relate to, and a brand that you can recognize more than anything, because again, this is worldwide, right? So with that in mind, that's how I came up with this list. I'm actually just gonna give the first five. The rest we'll just figure it out on your own, or we'll see if we can place it in my first five. Right? In the NFL, what you have in this case a super league, eight with 8 players. I'm sorry, 8 teams. I think in this case the top five would be.
Does the order matter?
There's no order.
No rank.
No
Alright,
rank.
good.
No particular rank. We can do that later. But specifically, I would do all of the NFC East except the Washington football team, and which is the Cowboys, the Eagles, and the Giants. And I'll explain why. Right.
They make a lot of money.
The Packers and the Chiefs, and the Packers and the Chiefs. So in this case, again, it would be the Cowboys, the Eagles,
So the NFC only, pretty much.
that's no, that's
New York
that,
Giants.
New York Giants, and the Eagles, the
Chiefs and
Cowboys,
Packers.
Chiefs, and the Packers, right? The other two that I would add, or the other, because it's 5, right? The other two I would add would be in this case the Steelers, just because of how old they are, but I don't know about the other two. I want to say maybe, in this case, the 49ers, just because of their long history.
I would put the NFC up.
But in this case, I want to know what the 8th team. So what do you think? I'll go start with you, Baz. What do you think of the list?
Well, I mean, before I ask this, I already have.
And I'm sorry.
But I wanna ask-
I'm sorry. Let me go back real quick.
All right.
So the reason why I chose these particular teams is not specifically, again, Tottenham, Arsenal. They weren't the best of best, right? But they're brands. So in this case, I'm talking about the NFL. You know how the NFL is, bro. Like, it's all about the shield. You got to protect the shield and everything like that, right? In this case, for me, those teams would be the easiest teams for them to be able to showcase football to the world, like in a super team or whatever. Like,
And is that going off of current rosters, current success, or
current right now as is? So imagine there's like a summer league, if you will, and okay, that's a little too loud, Evan. Yeah, it's a little too loud. In this case, one of the things I like to think about, imagine like where they're playing this summer, right, in the summer league, but they have, for whatever reason, magical powers, right, and then they don't get hurt or anything like that. So imagine it that way, like an 8-team super league. What do you think, Sebas? Talk to me, bro.
well,
With that in mind.
with that in mind,
And what would you
I say
change?
that we are forgetting a lot of teams, and including very specific teams. I do think that in NFC East, the Giants and the Eagles and the Cowboys have long histories, but I would not want to see an Eagles Super League team game because the Eagles are losing. I would not want to see a Giants Super League game because the Giants are losing.
True that.
It's just you cannot stick them up against the Packers or the Chiefs at all. But Cowboys, I think, are a little bit different because yes, maybe the NFC East didn't have the most wins, or they were maybe the most around each other as far as bad parity, but they're not that far off. I mean, you give them a couple good players in the secondary, maybe a couple players in the O line, and they're healthy. with what they have, they can be in the playoffs. So I do think I would throw in the Cowboys for that reason, for the fact that they're one of the most famous teams on the planet, and also their stadium. I mean, you also have to think about in this Super League, if you're going to make it real, you want the best stadiums. You're not going to really want the Super League highlight NFL or football of the world be in a 70s or 80s type of stadium. But whatever. So I'll give you the Cowboys. I'll definitely give you the Niners, even though they have their own issues, even though we don't know exactly what's going to happen at quarterback, but for their history, for the fact that they're a very well-run organization to the day,
Nice.
I'll put them in there as well. Chiefs, I mean, how could you not? This is the best quarterback in the game. I've been in the Super Bowl for I don't know how many years, and it's going to be in the Super Bowl how many years. They have to be there. The Packers, combination of history and the fact that Aaron Rodgers is still there, I would take that too. So I think those were 4 teams right there.
Yeah.
The Packers, the Cowboys, the Chiefs, and the Niners. You mentioned the Steelers. I will put the Steelers there as well. Even though they went 11-1, they were looking really great, and then just nosedived off. And they're gonna have a rough off season. I do think that. I mean, first off, I'm not gonna go into the Steelers that much, but a lot of people say Roethlisberger past his prime. Yes, he sucks, or he should get out, or he's hurting the team. Absolutely not. Even his numbers that people call pedestrian are top 20, top 15. And if he has a healthier, better year, he comes with maybe more energy, a little more jovial next year, and the team kind of does things around him. We'll see. But would I put him in the Super League? Yes, I would. So those will be my 5. I think from the ones you mentioned, Danny, I took off the Eagles and the Giants. Everyone else was pretty much on it. But I feel like one team, if you're thinking history, if you're thinking current roster, and you're thinking, are they really good? Funny enough, I mean, they've been the laughing stock for decades, but it is very interesting seeing a Browns game. I think the dog pound would want to be represented in the Super League. Would I have said this 2 years ago? Probably not. But with Baker being solid at best or really good on some days, those 2 running backs, that defense, the whole receiving unit, I would put them in the Super League game because I think if healthy, a game of Chiefs Browns or even the Cowboys and the Browns, that would be very, very, very entertaining. So right now, I think I'm down to my last 2 teams. Is that right, Danny?
Yeah. I'm actually gonna I'm putting them up right now.
Oh, perfect. All right.
Yeah, right now we'll
so
go over
my-
it. We'll go over them right now in a little bit. But yeah, go for it.
No problem. My last 2, I will not pick the Jaguars, even though I really want to. But that wouldn't be fair or realistic. I would say, one, we have a lot of NFC teams, so I would try to do a little more parity just to include some of the other teams. I don't know how, since we did say current rosters, current and everything, I don't know how you can't put Tampa in. They have the GOAT. They have asinine amount of weapons. They have a very good defense. They just won the damn Super Bowl. They have to be in there, in my opinion. And quite honestly, in this Super League, it's still likely that the Chiefs and the Bucks will go to the Super Bowl. I mean, whatever this league's championship was called. And then the last team, my 8th team, I have 2 in mind, but I don't believe in Lamar Jackson, so I'm not gonna say the Ravens.
I was gonna say, are you no? Are you
I was thinking that I like
no?
Baltimore as an organization. I think
Dude,
Baltimore is
let me-
one of the premier how they run it, and
Yeah,
how they
but
treat their players, and not
let
make
me
a lot of mistakes.
let me throw a name out there. A ver.
But
All right, let me
All
throw.
right.
I was talking to Evan about it.
Neymar.
No, okay. Las Vegas Raiders.
yes, I was actually between them. Not,
Resident
Why
Really
not?
bad guy.
Why not?
Why not? I mean, 1, they have a brand new stadium. 2, it's Vegas. 3, the Raiders do have very good history, and I think it's because of their history, probably in their heyday and their glory days, but also the logo. They are very, very well known and followed worldwide. Like, it's not just oh, there's the black hole, or it's not just Oakland or diehard fans. The Raiders are very, very known all around. Derek Carr is a very good quarterback, very underrated, I think. They do have weapons, but I was struggling to say the Raiders because, I mean, we did say current rosters and we did say we're trying to put the best talent out there. I don't think I would put the Raiders right now in the top 8, top 10, top 12 in the league. But historically, because they're now in Vegas, their quarterback is decent. That made me think about them. But with all that said, I don't think they should be the 8th team. If anything, maybe I will go to Denver, stick in the AFC, and throw the Broncos in there. But no, their current roster is not that great either. I'll put Buffalo. That's what I would do.
So
I'll
okay,
put Bills. I'll put Josh Allen. I'll put that offense. I think they'll be very entertaining. Yes, they're a small market team, obviously, but they also have. I mean, Bills Mafia is huge. They are known internationally as well, and they're a very, very, very old team in the NFL. I mean, they do have a lot of diehard fans, multi-generational fans, and they have a very entertaining team to watch that beat some of these teams already this past season, in the last couple of years actually, that were putting in the Super League. So yeah, and to balance it out with more AFC teams, I think I'll pick Buffalo.
nice. All right, Seabass. So I'm gonna go ahead and go over that again with you. Hold on, let me
I was
just.
trying to go 4-4, but I don't know if I did.
Nice. Yeah, I agree with you on the Buccaneers.
All
If
right,
Brady's still in,
how about
you
how about
can't have a Brady
How can
team
you
not
not?
in.
all right, so let me just put mine real quick. Ooh, popped up in here. I'm not gonna do the whole thing. I'm just gonna do mascots. Make it easier for
I can't believe I
me.
picked the Browns.
Me too. What the hell are you talking about? Browns?
I was
My
like,
man.
All eyes of the world are on Cleveland.
all right,
Get
and
outta here.
then
Exactly.
we'll do super fan. All
The spot.
right, hold on.
I'll keep it short and sweet.
Hold on. I'm gonna
Cowboys.
let me go ahead and put
If there's room, Texas.
And then second place, the Cowboys.
I'll bring back the Houston
All
Oilers.
right, Seabass. Yours is.
The Baltimore.
All right, Seabass. What was yours? What was yours?
It was Cowboys, Chiefs, Packers, Bucks, Browns, Steelers, Bills. I'm missing one. How many was that?
Bucks, Browns. Steelers.
Oh, the Niners. The Niners. That's the NFC.
Oh shit. 49ers. And what was the last one? So Cowboys, Bucks, Browns, Packers, Chiefs, Steelers, 49ers,
Bills.
and Bills.
So I probably gave you 9 because it said Bills and Browns. And you didn't read the Browns right now.
That's right. Take out the Browns.
I was gonna say I don't mind taking out the Browns. I just said I couldn't believe it. So cool.
I was like, oh yeah, let me see if I can change your color. Seabass. With your green. Your little green in here.
Salute.
And let me just change my color a little bit to make me.
Cheers, Bar Talk Super fans. That goes for everybody out there watching us.
Yeah, there we go. Cheers, Evan. Cheers. All right, and we will go ahead and actually grab. Put mine over here.
These nuts.
I actually haven't finished mine.
Oh.
Nice. We're gonna have Mr. Superfan. Oh.
Our Super League is gonna put in that.
Oh yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead and give him Mr. Superfan art the color. We give him like a very All
I
right,
don't
cool.
see the world in color, Danny.
All right, cool. So, what is your teams? I'll write them down as you say them.
All right. I'm basing my metrics on history, marketing, and
Nice.
talent, which
Oh,
is pretty much what we all been going through.
nice. Good.
Obviously, Dallas, because of the marketing perspective. So the Cowboys are in it. I would go with, you always got to have New York. No, I mean, you can't, marketing is one of the biggest markets.
Wait,
in the
Giants
US.
or Jets?
Giants or Jets?
It would definitely be Giants. I hate to say it, but it'd be the
Buffalo.
Giants.
I was gonna say.
I don't know why we asked that. Yeah.
I was like, I know. We just, I mean, it's just, yeah.
And on the other side, was you always have to have something from Los Angeles, or preferably somewhere in California. So I'll go with the Rams. They got a new state-of-the-art stadium. It's pretty mamalone. I'm not gonna lie. To there besides football. So that's Dallas. That's the Giants. It's the Rams. You can't deny Brady if he's still not retired yet. So I'll go with Brady and the Bucks. That's 4. And same thing with Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers still around. You can't deny the Packers. That's 5.
And Devontae, he's legit. You know that, right?
Exactly. So for number 6, I would go with the Chiefs because Mahomes is pretty much gonna own this league for like 10 more years. 6, 7. I like your stance on the Raiders, Seabass. Vegas, it's underrated as a market, but it's like people go there even for non-sporting events. So might as well, have that showcase to the world. One of the best casino cities of the world, entertainment capital of the world, Vegas. That's 7. And for the final pick, that's gonna be a tough one. I already went through the big markets. Talent-wise, I would have picked New Orleans, but Drew Brees is already out.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I wouldn't pick him too, but no.
I'll go with the dark horse and the Seahawks. Russell Wilson is still there. They're always a contender each year. I'll go with the Seahawks. So that's my 8.
Actually, the Seahawks is actually a really good pick. I didn't even think about them.
That was better than the Cardinals.
Oh, we're doing it. All right. So mine. All right. So yeah. So mine was Cowboys, Eagles, Giants. Again, I'm basing mine off of also marketing, branding, but not necessarily talent, unfortunately. Now, Seabass
How is it
did.
a super league without super talent?
I was gonna say, and Seabass did bring a good point. He's like, do you really want to see the NFC like portrayed to the world like as football? Like, I'd rather like literally get like the SEC and I would like, you know what I mean? Like, honestly,
have New York, man.
get some college football. At least they can like play D or whatever. But I just think they're just the Cowboys, Chiefs, and I'm sorry, the Cowboys, Eagles, and Giants. They're just very marketable, and I think they have good talent. I just don't think I don't know about the Eagles, but I don't know the Cowboys do have a good. I think they have a lot of talent on the team. They just need to kind of glue it all together, really.
They need to stop teams from scoring and stay healthy too.
Yeah, and and we'll talk about like how they'll draft or whatever. Obviously in our mock draft they chose a corner, so that would definitely help them. Eagles, it's just the city of Philly. Eagles, it's just a big brand, like it just is. The Giants, it's New York. It's just and it's a huge rivalry with the Cowboys. That would be really big game. I mean, it would be enormous. Imagine in a Jerry World, like NFL Super League national, like worldwide in Jerry World, like Cowboys against Giants.
I mean, we saw it twice last year, and it wasn't that great.
I
Not
don't
the Jaguars fan.
know. So
Hey,
whatever.
I
Anyways,
didn't put the Jaguars in there, did I?
no, he didn't. So I think the Packers, because it's the Packers, it's a Green Bay Packers. You're one of the originals, and the Chiefs as well. Besides the Chiefs, obviously they have Patty Mahomes. He is the next phase. He is the phase already, really. The NFL, for the
I think he's more
foreseeable.
the hair of the NFL because I recognize his hair more than his face.
Yeah, so he's just one of those. So obviously the Chiefs are gonna be there. I am actually gonna go with the Steelers. They're just an older, one of the old school franchises that I think they could just they'll be able to, um, just keep up with. They just keep up with the times. Honestly, and honestly, I think it's more the coach, Mike Tomlin. I think honestly I think it's him that really just uh kind of changes the with the culture and stuff like that. I just think the last couple of years it just hasn't. But that's besides the point. But I think
And I
this.
think the Steelers have rough years ahead, to be honest.
I think so too. I think so too. But I still think they're extremely marketable. They have a lot of talent, especially in that defense. So that'd be kind of fun to see. I'm going with the Steelers. I'm going for the Niners. I don't know about their current talent. I think they're. I mean, they apparently they're drafting Mac Jones, not according to our mock draft, because Adrian did take Justin Fields. Um. So
Have
whatever.
you ever heard about Justin Fields' latest news, by the way?
No, what's up?
That I don't know the full details. I just read a quick story the other day, but apparently, and some
read?
doctors have confirmed that he suffers from epilepsy. He has some attacks. Apparently, some people in his family have had it in the past. They expect it not to be an issue. Obviously, he played through college, so we know he can ball. But that will scare some teams, and maybe some teams were already aware, and that's why he kind of been dropping the draft. But yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. I read it maybe 2 days ago, 3 days ago.
Okay.
But I honestly think that he still will go top 16. There's going to be a team that either it's like, hey, we don't care, let's take a risk, or they'll obviously do their due diligence. And if he slides maybe a little bit more, we'll have some teams that really need him maybe in the top of the second, trade up and get him. But I don't know. I don't think you should ever kind of judge a player, especially a college athlete trying to get drafted into the NFL by their health issues, by their history, things like that. But just the fact that it comes out so late into the process, we're a week, exactly a week from the draft.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
I mean, why wasn't this news years ago, months ago? So yeah. Hopefully, I wish him the best, but I think that will hurt his draft stock. Maybe how much money he gets his first couple of years.
Yeah, and that's
true.
crazy. That's crazy. I mean, and I honestly, I think teams were aware of it at some type of way. It's the NFL. There's not a lot of things
I
that.
think so too, because he went from being, him and Trevor the whole time, and then Zach Wilson just dominated. And
Yeah,
now we're like, oh, Mac Jones is going ahead of him too. And like, what the what happened? He
yeah,
just
and,
kept dropping.
yeah.
I'll get to the mobile quarterback, but
And also, like I was hearing excuses like, "Oh no, he's the last one in, first one out of practice," type of thing. Like that. Honestly, that just sounded like kind of excuses for like he might just be like a little. Not, I don't think necessarily like lazy or anything. They're trying to. I guess it was trying to be portrayed that he kind of was, but I think it was just like a cover for like something else. Like, nah, dude, I'm sure they have. I don't think it was physical. I think it was more like off the field stuff or whatever. Which honestly, dude, most quarterbacks already have that. It's just it comes with the position or whatever. With like sometimes like you can't really control stuff that happens around. You know how people are or whatever. Where like it's just
yeah.
it's the quarterback, and there's just so much perspective involved with that or whatever. But I don't know. No, I think he'll be fine.
The NFL pundits of the
Who
world.
do you think? Who do you think is actually drafting? Who's gonna draft them? Seabass?
I mean, honestly, it kind of depends now who takes the risk on him. Right now, I would have said he will slip past the top 3, top 5. But I mean, I could see any team trading up. Honestly, it's a little bit scary, but Patriots still don't have a quarterback. There's been rumors that they like the quarterback, obviously, that they might trade up, things like this. We know Belichick is not really known for smoke screens that much, but this could be a major one, hoping that Justin Fields slides and they can trade for a little cheaper up in the draft and get him. They